Let's begin this in a minute. All right, there we go. And moving to the speaker view. Okay, wonderful. And a very warm welcome to all of you who have just joined in, and a happy Sunday in whichever part of the world you are. I think it's probably still a Sunday, but lots and lots of love. And I've been missing in action, and it almost feels like pata nahi kitne mahino se I haven't been here. Whereas it's actually only been like probably like 2 weeks that I haven't been here, but really feels like a long time. तुमको जितनी आदत है उतनी ही आदत अब मेरे को भी पड़ चुकी है. So there we go. But anyway, so let's start immediately with today's topic. Today's topic being all about being mindless, and then being full of mind, and then being mindful. And these are the three ways that we spend our lives. These are the three options, the choices that we have as to how to spend our lives. Mind you, these are options. And as options go, it's like between a cake and an ice cream and maybe a rasmalai. Okay, so these are the options that are there to you. You might prefer a cake over an ice cream. You might do something else. And that's completely a choice. This is not a choice about right and wrong. This is simply a choice, the ways in which we live our lives. No matter how much we want to live only in one particular way, that is never going to happen. Why? Because these choices present themselves to us every moment, every moment. And here we are here to taste all of these three choices. We are here to taste the cake, the rasmalai, the gulab jamun, and everything else. And so we simply understand these choices a little bit better. So the first choice about being mindless. How do we spend our lives in the mindless form? Well, when we are born, we simply are in the moment. We do everything, whatever we want to do. There is no rules that bind us. The only rule, or rather something that binds us are the needs of the body. When we are hungry, we have a certain reaction to that hunger. And that reaction is, we'll cry, we'll bawl sometimes as if somebody's taken, our most prized possession away. And nobody can tell us, no, it's not okay to cry so much. Not as yet. Nobody can tell us, no, you're a boy, you can't cry. You're a girl, you shouldn't be crying all the time. Whatever those conditions are, they don't apply to us. And in that moment, we do whatever we wish to do. Without putting our mind to it, we have, something happens outside, somebody is looking at us and they smile, and we look at that smile and we smile right back. And that's it. We don't care what that person is, what that person's social status is, who that person is. No, when somebody smiles and we like their smile, we smile back mindlessly. We don't apply our mind. We don't judge people's smiles, at least not yet. We don't judge who we are with when we are reacting. We don't care that, if I'm hungry at 2 in the morning or I have pooped at 1 in the morning, that I am not going to make a noise. I'm going to be very considerate of others because others might have just slept after taking care of me. No, I have no such inhibitions about myself. I am simply going to do as I please. And everybody honors that. Everybody honors that mindlessness from where I am operating as a child, as a tiny little baby. And that is when we are mindless. And then, of course, we have actually come over here to experience all the mindful experiences. So then a few years happen to us, and from the actors around us that we have given roles to. Please understand this line. The actors around us to whom we have given roles to. So the first few actors are parents, grandparents, people who live in the house, and through them, we start our conditioning process. We start our conditioning process that we had wanted. Many people will come to me and say, my father always behaves like that. My mother always behaves like that. My grandfather did this. My grandmother did that to me. Well, they had to do all of that to you only because you handed over that script to them. You handed that script to them. They played out the script. You don't like the script, but that's what your energy did. You meaning not you in the body, but that's what your energy did. It handed out the script to them. So they played out their parts and you started to get conditioned. You started your conditioning. You started to judge yourself as you cry. You started to judge yourself as you laugh. You started to judge yourself in social setting. You started to judge yourself in the family setting. And there, the life on earth began. As you judge yourself now, you have to put your mind to everything because there are choices of this being right and that being wrong, this being good and that being evil. And these are the choices made from our judgments. And so we spend a large part of our lives trying to become the good, trying to be, or at least if not trying to be the good, trying to portray the good parts of us. We do not want others to see if we have bad parts. No, no. This is the part that I need to put forward. This is my best looking part. And I need to only have this face in front of others. And I can have another face when it comes to family or when it comes to two close people or whatever. But I'm going to have a nice, acceptable face in front of others. That is when we are full of mind. And that is how we spend our entire life. It is only, it is only when we come to a place where there is no peace within. Everything we have, or maybe we don't have everything, we are looking for something more, no matter what, but the peace within is missing. And that's when we start to shed other stuff and begin to look for peace. Mind you, we are still looking outside for that peace. Somebody on the outside needs to give us that peace. Firstly, we look towards family members. You change yourself so that I can be at peace. My children need to change themselves so that I can be at peace. My children need to follow everything that I say so that I can be at peace. My wife needs to do everything. My husband needs to be this kind of a partner to me so that I can be joyful. I can be at peace. And then we recognize it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. We recognize thinking, "Arey, galat ghode pe paise laga diya." We should have never married into this family. We should have never married into that person. We should have not done this. We should have had a boy instead of a girl. Whatever it is that we put our judgments on, the finger is all pointed outside when we are still looking for peace. We want to come to that place of peace, but the finger hasn't come within. And so we again look outside to a guide, to a guru. We will find them. And then we will find the guru. And even then, so many people come to me. But when they come to me, every now and then, they will complain about the previous guru. He didn't ever teach me this, what you are teaching me. Array, the finger is still outside. No matter who it is on, tomorrow you will find faults with me also when you find yet another guru. And you will find faults with me. And the finger is still outside. So no matter if you are engaging in all this finger work being outside, finger being outside, somebody else to blame, then you are simply acting on your judgments. As you act on your judgments, the good, the bad, the ugly, the wonderful, they will keep showing up. And you will only accept parts of them as you. You will like the nice parts, the nice, the easy, the wonderful ones. Oh, that's me. But all of that evil, that bad stuff, no, no, that's not me. And you are not able to even accept yourself fully. That's because the finger is outside and the judging is happening. Who to? Who towards? All towards you only. There is nobody outside. My favorite line. There is no one else outside. And so when you judge somebody on the outside, it's only your own parts that you haven't looked at. It's your own parts that you haven't accepted. And then, of course, you'll find a guru. Your path will start. And the guru doesn't need to be somebody, in a body. The body. Okay, let's. Who was it that we had to mute? Anupama. Okay. All right. Okay. So we were talking about then when we start to come into this place of mindful living. Mindful living. So all of this while that we have lived mindlessly, totally joyful, totally enjoyable, so much masti in living mindlessly. And then, of course, that masti had to be shed because you came to earth not to so much experience masti, but to experience duality, to experience polarity, द्वैत अद्वैत उन सबको देखने के लिए तुम यहाँ पे आए. खैर, जब वो वाले सारे experiences हो जाते हैं, when those experiences are kind of done and finishing, that is when you will find yourself coming to a place of mindfulness. Now, in this mindfulness, this word mindfulness is all about being aware of the play of your mind. Now you're aware. It's not that the mind will stop playing. No. It came to earth to play. It will continue to play, but now you start to become aware of what it is playing with. Who are the tools today? Who are the actors today that your mind is toying with, that your mind is playing with? And when that recognition begins to happen, your mindful aware living begins. What happens at that point? Most of you who are here follow the easy path of just simply tuning into mental frequencies because it already holds so much of awareness that it's easy to become aware of your own emotion, to become aware of your own judgments. So as you follow this, I take energy from Meenal, I am Meenal, and as you tune into this, many of you, at least initially, start to cling to this part. You don't want to experience anything else now that you have this amazing tool of masti. Now you want to cling to masti. And this is where I say to you, the three ways of living are choices. We are actually going back from this mindful living. We are going back to mindlessness. We are going back to mindlessness, and this time with awareness of our own mindlessness. However, if you think that 24/7 you are going to be aware, so that never you have to experience your mind, playing of the mind, you're full, being full of the mind, you don't even want to go there anymore. Now you're already playing in the mind. You're already playing with fear as you choose from a very limited perspective. You're now not choosing that, okay, these are just desserts that I'm eating. One of them is kadwa, one of them is meetha. And now you only want to choose meetha. To remind you that only meetha also gets to be boring. It gets to be very boring. So you need spices. You need many different spices in your life, and those spices will happen automatically. What are these spices? Whatever you call them. I call them frequencies almost every day, but today I'm going to call them spices. Today I'm going to call them different desserts. Why? Because that is how you live a full life. Not to avoid your mindful living, neither to avoid the living of mindlessness, nor to run away from that mind, the full of mind living. Just simply being able to acknowledge each part. For the last 15 days, I was in chutti, and I was just laughing at how little inner work I did. It was almost like I was taking a break even from the inner work. When something wasn't good at the hotel, I was happily blaming the hotel without looking within. And I was happily like, okay, this is wrong with the hotel. This is wrong with the car ride. This is wrong with everything. And I was enjoying that finding fault with the outside. At all times, the beauty of being aware is so much fun because you can be, never be, I rather, you can now never be completely in one of those places because every 2 or 3 minutes a reminder will come to you. Are andar dekh jao, what are you creating for yourself? And that experience then becomes a 2 or 3 minute experience, but we are not running from that 2 3 minute experience. That's the whole point. Our life, when we become aware, we begin to understand that the life is lived in every moment of now, in every moment of now. And the now is shifting every now. The now is shifting. So you could be fully aware for 20 hours and then be fully unaware for 4 hours or 4 minutes or 4 seconds, but fully unaware. And why is even that part needed? Why is it that you need to experience that mind? I keep saying that mindfulness. Why is it that you need to experience that full of mindness? Why do you need to experience even that? Because that is simply going to always exist. There is no why. The earth is a place for the existence of all those spices. And so you are going to experience and, have experiences eating, tasting all of those spices, not to run away from them. The good part that happens when our aware life is happening is that we actually can see how much mirchi we want in a day. Okay, I only want this much mirchi, then fine. After about 4 minutes of mirchi, I can move towards something that is sweet, not from a place of I'm never going to have mirchi again, or if mirchi comes, I'm going to curse it for the next 20 years. No, I'm going to be able to taste something sweet immediately after and change my experience. Not running away from the experience because spices will come, spices will happen, everything will happen as we live life. And to be in this place of acceptance of each and every part of our experience. That's the place that we are moving towards, living every now, being in acceptance. Many people come to me and say, my husband was complaining कि इतना मीनल का program कर लिया, but you're still as angry as before. And I tell them that's perfect. You don't need to stop experiencing your anger. उसको बोल दो हाँ हाँ उतना ही गुस्सा है, उतना ही गुस्सा, लेकिन now. But now what you have a choice. You have a choice from shifting your anger whenever you feel like it. Maybe you feel like it in 1 second. Maybe you feel like it in 1 hour. Maybe you feel like it after 4 days. Maybe after a month. But each time, even when you feel like changing your anger towards joy, when you feel like changing your frequency, put this step in the middle to see where are you changing that step from. What frequency? Are you even changing your frequency from fear itself? Or are you first in the acceptance of your full of mind living? Because that is never going to go away. It's never going to go away. If anybody ever tells you that they are fully aware 24/7, know that they haven't understood. They haven't understood their whole complete self. Our whole complete self is a mix of all the frequencies. And so we are going to live all the frequencies. We just simply have to accept it and allow it. Allow ourselves to be mindless, and mindless is absolutely beautiful. What is there to not allow? Because in mindless space, we enjoy, it's just pure joy as a child, pure pain as a child, pure anger as a child, because the child is not differentiating between the frequencies. The child is simply experiencing and moving along. If I'm angry that the food is not here, I will cry. I will cry all the way till the food is there. But once the food is there, in a minute and a half, I am different. I have moved into the next now, and that now is contentment. I'm happy that my food is here. I'm happy that I'm enjoying whatever it is that I'm taking in. And so that place of mindlessness is where we are going back to moving, moving, moving every moment, just simply experiencing and then moving, experiencing and moving. Then, when we come into the place where we are full of the mind, oh my God, I was so hungry and she didn't even feed me for 5 hours. She fed them first and then she asked me for food. He fed her first. He didn't do this to me. That is where we start to deal in the mind. Then we carry those experiences for kingdom come, because then we are not able to live in the now. We are either living in the past or making our future scenarios from this past. And we will continue to live this way. It will happen to us every day. For something or the other, we will create a future by dwelling into the past. But the beautiful part is this, that immediately, or at least, very quickly, you will be able to come to a place where the mindful living will kick in. The mindful living, which will remind you, are you living in the now? Are you going towards mindlessness, or are you going towards being full of mind? So those are the choices that we can make when we are sitting in the space of mindfulness. At all times, you will experience all of those. And so the only point that I make here today in today's webinar is allow. Allow yourself to live. Every time the reminder comes, yeah, great that you were reminded. But even when people are reminded, they start to beat themselves up. Oh my God, I have not been aware for 5 days now. Accept it, move along. Those 5 days are gone. That unawareness was meant to be. And today, now, in this moment, the awareness is meant to be. The mindfulness is meant to be. It is meant to be. So move into this space without beating yourself up for, oh my God, if I knew this 20 years ago, or even though I knew this, I didn't exercise it. And so, as you sit more and more in the past, even if the past belongs to 3 days ago, if you're sitting in the past, you're missing out on this moment of now. You're missing out on being aware in this moment of now. Simply be aware. Aware of what? The spice that you are tasting right now, the frequency that you are sitting in right now. And that's all that life is. All of these three are choices. Remember, you can choose, but choose without judgment. Because unless you accept your own frequency, unless you fully accept who you are in a moment, that circle is going to just continue, continue, continue. You will keep coming back to that place of beating yourself up, judging yourself, and from that place being full of your mind. Mind, this mind that we talk about, simply gives us very limited choices because it acts from a conscious, logical, rational, what we think is rational part of our conscious mind. That's where we make our decisions from the knowledge part. This mind is not tapping into the knowing when we are simply sitting in the, full of mind part. Then we are tapping into the knowledge. We are simply tapping into our very, very tiny, minuscule little intelligence and not tapping into the universal intelligence that is here, that belongs to us. The universal intelligence is not outside of us. We are the universe. अंदर है सब कुछ हमारे, लेकिन उसके अंदर हम टैप तभी कर सकते हैं when we understand when we understand the frequencies at play. Only then can we let go of our judgments. And when we let go of our judgments, only then can we tap into the universal intelligence. Otherwise, we will constantly be judging ourselves as right and wrong from an outside world perspective. As per the world, what am I looking like? Good, bad, evil, ugly? What am I looking like? I will constantly be judging myself from that space. And so to let go of judgments is where we come to yet again when we want to do an aware, mindful living. Any questions? We repeat almost every single time the same bhashanbazi, the same ways of looking at life. And yet, from each time, we receive something. Today's receiving is largely about where all you haven't allowed yourself, where all you haven't accepted yourself as one of those three choices. इन्हीं तीन choices में से तो choose करना है ना. या तो mindless हो जाएगा, या mindful हो जाएगा, या full of mind हो जाएगा. यही तीन choices हैं. And that is where we are living our lives from. It's not so bad. We can immediately make a shift towards something else in this moment, in this now. Please, can you explain full of mind again? Yeah, full of mind is the way that you live your entire life. The whole life when you are not looking within. Full of mind is all about knowledge. It is all about judging yourself from where I am this and I am not this. I am lacking this. I haven't done this. I am incomplete. All of those judgments that you make, the conscious logical parts of you that you so call. It is amazing. I've done other webinars on this as well, because the logic that we actually call logic is simply belonging to the body. It comes from a very minuscule part of our existence, whatever we know in this body, in this life, the experiences we have had from here, and some of those experiences that we bring along in the energy field of ours, those experiences are shaping our logic. You say, oh, I'm very logical as a person, but then I can immediately point you towards 5 illogical things that you might be doing and might not even be aware of. You'll be able to find them yourselves. Illogical stuff, that is the stuff that you might be doing from the heart. That's not logical. It comes from a different space. But those logical decisions that you take with so much of, is this right? Is this wrong? These judgments. Am I good? Am I bad? What face do I need to project in front of people? What more do I need to do to look good to the outside world? All of these decisions that you make, whether it's education, well, that's full of mind. Your career, full of mind. Many a times your marriage, full of mind, and all of those options are full of mind. How you will behave at your workplace, how you will behave in your relatives, amongst your circle of friends, all of them so full of mind. Why? Because you're constantly judging yourself, and from that place of judgment, you're putting a facade out there. You're putting a face out there, a mask out there, which will be liked, accepted by others. But when your finger is so much on the outside towards more being liked by the others, more being accepted by the others, then you have disallowed, you have not accepted all parts of yourself. When you begin to accept all parts of yourself, these judgments, this mind is what begins to drop. I drop my mind is simply about dropping your judgments about how things should be. Because things at any point in time are always in perfection. Always. Even all of the stuff that is happening in the world today, all the all the bad stuff that is happening today, when you look at all the news across the globe, it's all looking like a doomsday. But that too is in perfection. Only you begin to understand that perfection when you have understood that we have come to earth to experience the mind, to live in this full of mind ways. We have come to experience separation. We have come to experience, hate. We haven't come so much to experience love as much as we have come to experience separation and hate. And so, when you truly do beginning to experience love, that's when the aware living has kicked in, because that's when you can see the illusion that is being presented to you on the outside. And everything, the entire universe is within. So can you see, if you can feel so much hate for the outside universe, how many parts of you are you hating? Every time when you look at mindful living, the finger begins to come back within to see yourself as being complete. The way you are, the way the universe is, everything is complete in this now, in this moment. That would be mindful. Finding faults with yourself and with the outside world. And how many faults do we find? Yeah, as I just mentioned, I found faults with a hotel. Hotels were beautiful, but I managed to find faults with something or the other. I managed to find faults with, oh, it's so hot. Why is it so hot today? I managed to find fault. And that's how it is. And that's when you're not looking at what is the heat doing to you. The heat is getting me irritated. I didn't look at it for a few minutes. And in those few minutes when I didn't look at it, I experienced the full of mind living. Awareness lets you complete that full of mind experience quicker. And then you move to mindfulness. So by default, because we are on earth, by default, the first few seconds, minutes, moments, days, whatever, hours are going to be full of mind. And then very quickly, it can almost be so quick that you might not even grasp the shift. You might even think that, oh my God, I was aware to begin with. But it will always be the unaware part of you, the mind playing, that part of you, which will get triggered first, and then instantly sometimes, and sometimes with a little bit of cajoling, you will shift into the mindfulness. I hope that was a little bit more clearer. Is releasing and letting go same? Letting go of emotions, is it same to let go of people who want to go? To let go of people who want to go, you have no choice. If somebody wants to go, they will leave. Your choice is to look at, what am I feeling when somebody wants to go or when somebody wants to stay? Oh, I'm feeling so much relief that they want to stay. Or I'm feeling so sad that they want to go. The work is on us to work on our frequency, because when somebody wants to leave, they are on their own journey. How can you change their journey? You cannot change their journey, but you can change yours. And in your journey, when you give them a different kind of love, the equation between you and them might change. Might change. They might become a mirror of that love, or they might completely disappear from your life because you are resonating at a frequency that doesn't attract them. Many people fall off by the side when we move on this path. And at least initially, when we move towards awareness, we also start to get very hurt because we are clinging to those people, those relationships, and we don't like the idea of them falling off. But they've got their own journey, and we cannot control anyone's journey. Whether we allow them to leave or we don't allow them to leave is the only decision that about how we are going to feel about this allowance. I'm not going to allow them to leave, but they're going to leave anyway. So when I'm not going to allow them to leave, what am I going to feel? I'm going to feel so hurt because of the attachment and the expectation that they should stay. But when I let them go with love, This is your journey. You're Shiva, and I'm Shiva too. And my love is not limited to you and me being together in the body. Because many people are not with you in the body, but has the love gone for them? No, the love is there. We love our parents who have gone from the body, but we love them. So the love doesn't go when it is love, but the attachment gives us hurt. And so we let the attachment go and we move towards love. Okay. Is it the same as letting people go? All of it is about working on yourself. The only work that we have is to work on ourselves. When somebody wishes to leave, we look at our own selves and our reaction. When somebody wishes to stay, we look at our own reaction and our own emotion in that moment. It reminds me of a fight that I had. Um, I think it was just 2 or 3 years ago, and suddenly out of nowhere, and I got up in the morning at 5 o'clock, and Sudhanshu was already up, and for nothing, for him not even triggering me or anything, I got triggered. And then I said something to him, and then he said something back. And then it blew up to a fight where he was like, I have no wish to stay with you. You make my life miserable. Okay. And he said that to me. And my first reaction, of course, was so much hurt. Like, I make your life miserable. I made it, I've done so much for you. I was there for your mother when she was in her, when she needed the energies of joy. And she had such a peaceful, like, all of this stuff coming to mind, flashing through me for the first 5 minutes. Not even 5 minutes, probably three. And then immediately, along with that, a parallel track running. ऐसा नहीं है कि I've let go of my anger, but there's a parallel track running. अच्छा, this is Mani saying through Sudhanshu. अच्छा, what is Mani showing to me? Mani is saying this. अच्छा, आज मणि जी ये करवा रहे हैं. अच्छा, okay, then there must be a purpose. And so the fight didn't stop. As I said, I continued with my fight, but there's a parallel track running. So I was living both, the full of mind where I was judging his words, and I was also living the mindful in at the same time, because but immediately the mind goes to, this is money. Money is doing everything in my life, so this also must be money. So this fight is what money is put for me at 5 in the morning. अब क्या देखना बाकी रह गया है? Because all of this while, every time Sudhanshu and I had a fight, I would work on my hurt and my expectations. But this time I was like, bhai, abhi I'm not even, like, how much of expectation? I have zero expectations right now. Why am I still feeling hurt? I have no expectation, but when he says this, why am I still feeling so hurt? So I didn't have the answer right there in that moment, but I was almost feeling like I'm scratching the bottom of the hurt barrel. Like, if there is a big घड़ा जिसके अंदर हर्ट ही हर्ट पड़ा हुआ है, मैं तो नीचे उसके पहुंच चुकी हूँ. अब तो समझ ही नहीं आ रहा है कि क्यों हर्ट हो रहा है. So I simply, I stormed out of there saying, yeah, fine, let's prepare the divorce papers. And I stormed out of there and I went into this room. But as soon as I went over there, I too had my journal out. And then I started to write and I started to write. I still didn't get the answer. I didn't get the answer, but I started to release my hurt, my resentment. And then I also started to release whatever Sudhanshu was showing to me, because he is me only. There is no Sudhanshu. Sudhanshu is me. And he is reflecting. So what is he experiencing? What is he reflecting parts of me that I haven't accepted? So the resentment actually came as his part, that I play a role in his life for resentment. That role was earlier played by somebody else, but after their death, I had to play that. I took on that role because he hasn't worked on his resentment. Somebody has to play that role. So he always held resentment towards me. I'm like, okay, fine. Then resentment, I also will release my resentment, because whatever he's experiencing, let me also release that. Hoga. And then at the bottom of the barrel, it was so beautiful that on the second day, something happened, and so I worked on myself, and I let go of my anger because I worked on myself. Now I'm normal. I've become normal. Next day we had to go for a party, and we both went for the party because I've let go of my anger. I did that work internally on my own self. And even though divorce papers are probably being written out over there, but let's go for the party while it's happening. So we went for the party. While I'm at the party, and I've talked about this even before. Actually, I've talked about it in the webinar when this actually played out, because it struck me as so amazing. And I'll remind everybody of that incident again. I went to the party, and all of us, we were all these couples, and we were hanging out over there. And in the couples, suddenly Mani says to me, everybody's laughing, jokes crack ho rahe hain, people are singing, everybody's having so much fun. And Mani suddenly said to me, okay, stop. And now take the energy of the room. Check the energy of the room. When I checked the energy of the room, it was all hurt and resentment. And I was like, how is this possible? All of these people were cracking jokes. And then Mani said, देखो, when इसके husband पे joke crack होता है, wife सबसे ज़्यादा जोर से हंसती है. उसके, they're all, that laughter is coming from hurt. It is not coming from love. It is coming from, मेरी तो सुनता नहीं है, आप देखो, ये बोल रहे हैं तो कैसे सुन रहा है or something. So the laughter is coming not from love, but from hurt and resentment. So I was like, but why is this happening? Why is the entire energy of the room hurt and resentment? And Mani said to me, that is what marriage is all about. A marriage is largely for creating, most people, for most people, 99% of the people in a marriage, the other and this one creates so much expectation right from the word, shadi. Shadi ho gayi, matlab you have to take care of me, you have to be with me forever, you have to always love me, you have to always take care of my needs, whatever, whatever. Why? Because I have a piece of paper that says that you are tied to me. I have a piece of paper. And love doesn't happen because of tying to a piece of paper. Love actually happens when you're not tied to anything at all. That's love. When you can let somebody free, that's because you've let yourself free. And free is not that, okay, I've let myself free to be, to go to bed with 28 people. There is no need for that, but there is a need to cling to somebody. There is a need to hold on to somebody because that person is married to me. And so when there is so much expectation, what is the link? The link is expectation, attachment, and hurt. So just by, and I was shocked because I said, oh my God, the whole world is going out there and getting married in the name of love. But it's not love, it's attachment, more. And so when you begin to understand the difference between more and pure unconditional love, there is nobody outside, and it is only the love to yourself which is being reflected back. So for anybody who is leaving and you are feeling the hurt or you are feeling the attachment, it's because you haven't loved them as yet. Right now, in this moment, there is expectation at play. There is attachment and expectation at play. Hope I was able to answer. Yeah. So somebody says, how does this state compare? So the state of being mindful, how does this compare or different to being mindless? It leads to mindlessness. It leads to mindlessness. And that's why I mentioned that line right there, saying that we are all going back towards mindlessness. But the more aware we can be, the more space, the more quickly we can release our mind, that full of mind state, we can let go. And then we moved to being aware of our emotion, aware of our being right now, in this moment, Who are we being? And when we are in that mindful state, then we can do the release work and we move towards mindlessness. Mindlessness is in spurts. The spurts can be longer and longer the more you practice. Looking at this cycle, the more you practice that, the more you will begin to be in the state of mindlessness. So we are going towards that, where we begin to do things without applying our mind to it. And when we are not applying our mind to it, mind you, we can still go through all the emotions, but this time there is a subtle difference. And actually, the story was so beautiful because I pointed out how there were two parallel tracks running, and that's what begins to happen to us. We accept our state of anger or rejection or sadness or whatever. We are able to accept it because we are playing in that frequency, and we are also playing in the mindfulness at the same time. And so it becomes easy for us to move towards the choice that we wish to be in. Just becomes easy for us. Why are you so awesome? That's my question. Well, well, well. There is an easy answer to this. मैंने बहुत माला जपी है ऐसे आया मौसम आया मौसम आया मौसम आया मौसम करके. हाँ, जितनी ज्यादा माला मैं जपूंगी उतनी ज्यादा ही तो फिर बाहर people will find me awesome. No, so that is the simple key to it. How are you so awesome? Thank you for the beautiful compliment. So cute. Thank you so much. The three concepts and their interlink is now clear. And really, it is an interlink, and it's a link that we will play at all times. We are not running from A to B to C. We are going to be doing ABC all together. That is how it is in the moment of now. We are in acceptance of ourselves, our every emotion. We don't judge. Then, in that moment, we are mindful. We might be judging in this moment, but we don't judge our judging self. Can you see? And then we act from mindlessness. Pure masti happens. Life flows. When we live all of this, we this is practice. This is the only inner work that we ask you to do. And that's what all of our workshops are about. All of these Gyanbazi is about inner work, inner work. Calm self khud pe hai. Don't even look outside. Like somebody is looking outside saying somebody is leaving. Don't look at somebody leaving. Just simply look at your own emotion. Somebody says, but at work, this is happening. Don't look at work outside. Look at your own state of being. And then you are allowed to be fearful. And an instant later, the option of being fearless will also pop up. You can choose, but it will pop up for you living in this continuum when you are going to be, when you keep becoming more and more habitual of being aware. This is a practice that I tell people, put an alarm for every 2 hours. It's a practice that you can, people are like, oh, we have, enlightenment is what brings us awareness. Well, enlightenment is simply a moment. If somebody says that, oh, there was a moment of enlightenment and now that is going to continue forever, there is no word forever in the state of energy. Energy moves in every moment of now. So even when you look at somebody, you look at me and say, oh, I'm enlightened. No, I'm not. Yes, I'm enlightened in bits and pieces. Some days, some moments, I'm enlightened, in these moments or whatever, totally enlightened. But am I running this at all times? No, I'm living life. And life is a combination of all the three. We are not rejecting, we are simply allowing, accepting, flowing with any of those three through the mindfulness. That mindfulness step will bring us that awareness of being either this and moving to some other place. We can move to any place of our liking. We can do that right away, but by acceptance, not by rejection. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that was the last of the questions. Okay, Take a deep breath in and exhale. And today we run through all of these stages of awareness of the mind. So, right now, as you take your next breath in, imagine yourself as simply the energy before you entered your mother's womb, before you entered the womb. You're simply the energy that has all the knowing in it, the energy that knows why it is taking a body, the energy that knows which womb it is going towards, the energy that knows what kind of a body is going to be created, because the energy has all the knowing. And you, in this moment, are energy. I am the all-knowing energy about to enter the mother's womb. I am all-knowing about the experiences that I wish to create for myself. And in this moment, ask yourself this question: what did you come to earth for? Why are you coming to earth? What is it that you wish to experience? Ask yourself that question. Maybe a line will come. Maybe a word will appear. Maybe the mind will be blank. All is okay. If you received an answer from an energy, just make a note of it. Make a note of it. Whatever it is that you came to experience, you chose this body. Now imagine yourself in the moment that you stepped out into this world, that newborn baby that you are. Someone is holding you, and you are the newborn baby, still connected to your entire energy, still knowing everything that you are experiencing, are going to experience. All the experiences that you have chosen, you know. In this moment, you know. And you don't judge yourself. Oh no, why did I choose this experience? No, you don't. Why? Because in this moment, you are mindless. You are simply the energy. And the energy is not judging. The energy is simply here to enjoy every experience. And so, as the baby, watch yourself. You're laughing right now. You're giggling. Giggling. Somebody is entertaining you, and you are finding it so amusing. You're smiling. You're giggling. And now you're hungry. And you're not at all happy. And you're crying. You're wailing. You're crying so much. And people are trying to pacify you. But no, you are angry. You want your food. And now you're crying so hard. And now the food arrives. And now you're quiet. And somebody is holding you. And you are now completely at peace. Your eyes are shutting as you go into a deep sleep, connected to the entire experience, to every moment. You are connected in this beautiful, mindless space. And now the experience that you came for. Go to the first time that you experienced that emotion or the experience that you have come for. If you were blank and you didn't receive an answer as to why you are here, I will give you a common answer. The earth is a common place to experience fear. And so, if you didn't receive an answer, go with this answer and go to the first time that you experienced fear. Or if you got an answer from your guidance, go to that instant where you first experienced what you came for. Go to that instance. This is your experience. This is your building block for your life. Whether it is fear, anger, love, joy, separation, whatever it is, that experience is now your building block. In this moment, now, you simply take that building block, that event, and look at it from the eyes of the baby. No matter how old you are, go back to the time that you were the baby and you knew your connect to your experiences. Take the experience right now, experience it, and let it go. Let it go, just as the baby does. No more crying, no more laughing, even. Just simply coming back to peace. Your eyes shutting as the baby's eyes do. As you let go of that experience, that building block. You came for those energies and you created several experiences, several building blocks. Just for the fun of it, let's go to another experience where you created more of your building blocks. Something will come to mind, something from childhood, maybe something from a recent past. Don't judge, simply play that experience again, but this time through the eyes of the baby, simply receiving the experience, holding it for this moment, and now letting go, simply letting go. Whatever your building blocks were for your experiences, they are now in the past. And each time now, if they come back to you, simply as a child would do, simply take the experience from it, know the energy of it, and the moment is gone. No more living the mind, simply letting go of it and coming to mindlessness again. That empty space where nowhere to go, nothing to be, just the empty space, enriched with every experience that we have been through. Acknowledge every experience, thank every experience, let go every experience. The mind blank for a few moments, and then the mind will play again. But now you know how to recognize and look at every experience through the eyes of the child that knows mindlessness. If any other experience comes to mind, take the time right now, simply looking at it, taking out the emotion from it. Ah, this is the experience. And then the eyes are closing as the baby goes off to sleep again, letting go of that experience in this moment. The baby is being held, is being cradled by the universe itself, by the source itself. The baby is the universe in this moment. Stay in this moment of mindlessness. Grow these moments of mindlessness. These moments so beautiful and ever expanding. Om Mani, Om Mani, Om Mani. Live your life in this beautiful space. I tell you, it is so beautiful. To be able to accept and allow everything and hold that power. Okay, everybody. Lots and lots of love to all of
Thank you,
you.
Meena.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, all.
Thank you, Meena. Ma. Thank
Lots
you.
of love.
Thank